Do you ever see a legend in the 99 of a deck, and then realise you've never seen it in the command zone? Do you ever wonder what those commanders' decks actually do? Turns out they are often quite good, and today, well, I'm going to be going back to the Shire to prove that to you all. Peregrin Took is a 3-mana green legendary 2/3 halfling citizen, which creates an additional food whenever you create a token, and can sacrifice 3 foods to draw a card. Chances are you may well have seen this card on the battlefield. He is in 71,451 decks on EDH Rec after all. That being said, chances are you've probably not seen him in the command zone, with him heading up only 326 decks. And honestly, that's a crying shame, because you can build some brilliant little synergistic piles around the guy, which can play some brilliantly weird pieces of cardboard. What Pip loves is a critical mass of token makers, preferably repeatable ones, with the number of foods being generated for free in a turn getting absurd by the time of the late game. Cards like Tendershoot Dryad, Bootlegger's Stash, and the Tireless Twins are absolutely incredible for just the sheer amount of food accrued over the game on top of their already powerful effects. Similarly, cards which generate several different token making effects at once, say Scoot Swarm and Chittering Dispatcher, are invaluable for huge bursts of food at a time, and thus card draw. This deck does, of course, play your standard food support package, such as the likes of Academy Manufacturer and Knight of the Sweet's Revenge, but even beyond that, it expands out into the surprisingly deep artifact token support pool available in mono green. You've got access to Teething Wormlet, Wildwood Mentor, and Honoured Dray Leader, which care about them entering, Nettlecyst, Jahira, and Inspiring Statuary, which care about them sticking around, and stuff like Itch Techic, Fangren Marauder, and Sir Ginger as some of the true spice of the deck. Going off when tokens leave the battlefield, primarily 3 at a time with Pip's draw effect. Or how about I mention the serious advantage this deck can accrue? For example, Trail of Crumbs can turn Pip's sack effect into up to a draw 4 with selection, for just the cost of a few generic mana. Or you have Ugin the Ineffable, who has a fun interaction with the fact that Pip has a replacement effect, which means that the food created alongside Ugin's Manifest token also puts the exiled card into hand when it leaves the battlefield. It's neat interactions like this that make me want to gush about this commander. It's just brilliant. Oh, and for you spikes out there, fear not. Pip is also not lacking in the power level department, having several infinites based around him, with 2 cards in particular going infinite with just themselves and Pip, namely Nuka-Cola Vending Machine and Summoning Station. You even have a very nice in-theme tutor for them in Transmutation font. I absolutely adore Pippin here at the head of a deck. I've tuned my personal deck list to the nth degree. Even the land ramp and removal make tokens. But you also don't need to take him in the directions I've mentioned at all. He's beautifully open-ended. All he asks for is token making, and you'll get card draw in turn. And that's not hard in mono green. If any of you folks want to check out my list for this guy, you'll find a link to it down below. And before I go, I want to thank my YouTube audience for getting me to 100 subs. It's not much yet, but triple digits is still a nice milestone to pass, and frankly, I used it as an excuse to go on a tirade about a card I love. And hey, TikTok folks, if any of you fancy going over and subbing as well, I'd appreciate it. I'm Scrap Iron Steve over there too. But anyhow, yeah, Pip's good. Play him. Ciao.